Welcome back, Gadgeteers. So if you hear a little bit of extraneous noise in the background, just wanted to let you know that I've got my Windows 98 Vintage PC running and my 2700X AMD computer running, because we're going to do a video talking about moving data from a Linux machine to a vintage Windows 98 machine. Now, there's all kinds of ways you could do it. You could use a floppy drive. You could use one of the GoTech floppy emulators. There's just a number of ways. You can use a memory card in the back that's hooked up to your IDE controller in the Windows 98 computer. There's all kinds of ways you could do it. Now, what seems to work fastest for me, and that's the key here, fast, is to go ahead and put a network card in your computer. And in this case, I'm using the Intel 82558B as in Baker network card, although that's the chip, but I believe you can use the 82557 as well. Don't quote me on that, but if you find one of these cards with the chip on it that says 82558, a network internet card, this one is going to work with Windows 98 right out of the box, so you don't have to worry about drivers or anything like that. Windows 98 will detect it and get it working, which is really nice. So I put this network card in my Windows 98 machine, but of course everything isn't instantly working, as you can expect. What you need to do over on the Windows 98 side is to go into Control Panel, and then you want to check out Network. So I'm going to double click Network, and there's a couple of different things you have to do. First thing is make sure your adapter is showing up. If you see 2 in here or something peculiar, I don't recommend removing it because it's hard to say which one is the active one and which isn't. If there's 2, it will not harm anything. And here I have the TCP/IP for the Pro 100 PCI adapter so that I can get an IP address for the Windows 98 computer. And I have the adapter itself, and I have client for Microsoft Networks. Now, I don't know if we need this NDIS1, but I left it in there anyway. So one thing you have to do here is change your network logon, or at least I did, to client for Microsoft Networks. And I'm going to hit cancel and just double check that's what it was. Yes. Okay. Second thing you need to do on this tab, and this is after the network card is installed, is click File and Printer Sharing. And you want to check, I want to be able to give others access to my files, and the printer's pretty much up to you. Okay, so we've got that. Once you reboot, because I believe when you do those 2 settings, you have to reboot, go back into Network, go to Identification, and just check what the computer name is. It should be in workgroup, but I put mine in the Samba workgroup because that just happens to be where all my computers are at on the Linux side of things. And of course I have a computer description here, but I'm going to have to change that pretty soon because I'm going to upgrade this system. We'll talk about that later. Next, on the 3rd tab, you want to decide what type of access control you're going to have for the computer. So this one, share level access, enables you to display a password for each shared resource, and we're going to look at a shared resource. User level access, so certain users and groups can log into the computer over the network. I prefer share level access. It just seems to be the quickest and easiest. So I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to risk having it tell me I have to reboot. Now, once that's done and it's rebooted and you're back on the desktop again, if you go to My Computer, you will see now, well, you won't see this until you do it, but if you right-click a drive and you go to Sharing, you do a couple of different things. Here on the Sharing tab, you turn on Shared As, because by default it is not shared. So we change it to shared as, and we have the shared name being D. And you decide what you want the access type to be. I chose full, and because I'm basically being lazy, I don't have a password in here, but normally this computer isn't on the network anyway. It's just a standalone Windows 98 machine, but if you wanted to add a little extra safety, you could turn the password on, but keep in mind it's a Windows 98 machine, so it's not like it's really going to help you all that much. Let's check and see if there's anything else we have to fill out. Nope. So now we have a share name called D. Okay, and I'm going to hit cancel here again. And let's go ahead and open the D drive, and we'll just leave it on the root. The next thing we're going to do is go back to our Linux system. Let's see if it actually went back. Hi, wrong thing. Okay, we're back on our Linux system, and I have a 3D benchmark here that I want to move over to my Linux system. But how do I do that? Well, pretty easy. You type in SMB, a colon, 2 forward slashes, and the name of the computer. Now, you'll notice that I used a capital P. Linux is case sensitive, Windows is not. However, I have tried it with a lowercase p, and it works just fine over the network from Linux to Windows. Then another forward slash and the share that I want to look at, and I should be able to read and write from. Okay, so in this case it's D. If you remember, we were looking on the D drive. So I'm going to press enter, and here I have all the different content that we were looking at over on the Windows 98 computer, and so everything should be exactly the same, which it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this 3D 2000 benchmark testing suite, and I'm going to drag it over here, and I want to say copy because I'm just doing a copy. It can take a few seconds, so you do have to be patient depending on the size of the item. Okay. Now, you notice it doesn't show up here. Make sure you grab and press, I shouldn't say grab, but press F5, do a refresh, and see if it shows up. And I see something there, but it says part, so that tells me that it hasn't finished moving that file over yet. Now, the network card I'm using is a 10100 network card, so that means it can move data at a maximum of 100 megabits across the network, even though I'm on a gigabit network. But it does work. All right, we're going to do a quick refresh again and see what happens. So you can see that the file actually did complete making its transfer. So we can cruise over to the Windows 98 machine, and we can see also the file is now here on the Windows 98 machine. So let's double click it, making sure it's working. And there we go. So I really like this because it makes moving software back and forth really quick and easy. You don't have to worry about shutting the computer down, pulling out the SD card or compact flash card, or finding a floppy drive for your modern computer to be able to make a copy to the floppy on the old computer, or having to image software. If I was using the GoTech emulator, I would have to go over here and take this software and turn it into an IMG file so that I could put it on my GoTech floppy emulator. Kind of a pain in the butt. Now, I haven't used one of those, so for all I know, all you have to do is put this in whatever, a folder or whatever on the GoTech floppy emulator so that it appears to be a floppy. I don't know that you have to make it into an disk image, but I suspect you do. So this is the fastest I've found and the easiest. Those network cards we were talking about, you should be able to find one of those for $10 floating around. This one is a PCI network card, so not a PCI-e and not a PCI-x. There is a difference. It is a PCI-e, PCI network card. So I hope this video was helpful. It's something that I do, and there are many people who say, oh God, you can't do that in Linux. Well, you can. You can pretty much do everything in Linux that you can do with Windows. As a matter of fact, you can do more in Linux, in my humble opinion, than you can do in Windows. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for your recent support. I am home from the hospital. I'm just trying to take it day by day. I just got home yesterday as of the making of this video, and I'm feeling okay. I've got some tweaking I still need to do on my medicine, and I need to see the doctor on Monday for a follow-up and make sure everything's okay. As far as I know, surgery's still on. Official date is April 27th. If the coronavirus gets out of hand, they're not going to have me do the surgery unless it's an emergency, so I may have to put it off for a while. I'd rather get it over with because I'm getting increasingly weak. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time on Fast Gadgets. This video was made possible with support from viewers like you. If you find this video useful, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/fastgadgets.